Welcome to Between Two Molars, an open conversation of the wins, setbacks, and messy middle of business ownership. A new kind of podcast that pulls back the curtain. No fluff, real conversations, real lessons, and the real life of running an orthodontic practice. So sit back between two molars and let's get into it. Welcome to Between Two Molars, the space where real orthodontic conversations happen.
I'm Diana Weaver.
And I'm Michelle Shimmin. Together, we're diving into the real challenges, wins, and wisdom from inside orthodontic practices.
So grab your coffee and get comfortable. It's time to talk between two molars. So Michelle, this is a topic that we hear frequently, and I want to really digest this.
Okay.
So it's marketing.
Oh boy.
Oftentimes doctors want to fill the funnel, and we don't have good systems in place. That's a whole different podcast, but I want to know how, I want to talk about how to actually fill that funnel to get more new patients in the door. If we have more new patients in the door and our systems are secure, we can have greater opportunity and options.
Yeah. So actually, efforts that get results.
Efforts that get results, yes.
Yeah.
So the traditional kind of marketing efforts that have worked in the past, we need to 2.0 them, right? We need to re-landscape this. We need to shift it around a little bit. While we may not be a marketing firm, we're really pretty good, I think, at enhancing what the team is doing for the practice and really working the community efforts that they have to getting more new patients that come in via social media efforts, digital marketing platforms, how to capture this new generation of people.
Yeah, definitely. We are not a marketing firm. What we are here to do is bring to the surface, bring to the table the discussion about what we see every day, all day within practices, that we see work and that we see a lot of holes, right, in the funnel, or just more areas of frustration and concern when just fill the marketing calendar. We don't have a marketing calendar. We need a marketing calendar. That's really topical, really surface. And it's really important when practices look at their marketing efforts to be able to understand what in their area, in their community, what's actually getting results. And that's going to vary practice to practice. So practices can't look over at their neighbor or at their friend doing this or doing that and expect that they can do the same thing, because I feel strongly that the personality of the doctor, the personality of the practice, where they're located, what their community demographics are, those are all factors that are going to play into what type of marketing calendar or marketing culture the practice creates. And that's what we're here to talk about, to really bring to light.
Right, because what's going to work in Seattle is probably not going to work in Arkansas, right?
Nope.
You know, we might have our contests that center around a lot of the kayaking and canoeing and outdoor activities and hiking, whereas Seattle might have more city adventures, depending on where you are. So
where they're located.
Well,
so that just really solidifies the importance of understanding those factors that we just talked about and knowing how can you customize your approach and be true to authentic you.
100%. I want to touch a little bit on what you said a minute ago, because you said not to really get wrapped up in your, I'm going to say competitor or the person down the street, what they're doing for marketing efforts, especially on social media. I do think that there is some value in looking at that, though, because if I can see what somebody else is doing, I can maybe take a different approach to that. What do you think?
I like that idea a lot. And I do think that it helps to almost piggyback on what's triggering the community in what they're seeing and what they're identifying. And, you know, like we say all the time, to find that uniqueness in who you are and to be able to bring that to the table, because that's what, one, the doctor is going to get behind the easiest and the most. And the same with the team members. You know, I feel that we see more often than not in a marketing calendar for the year efforts that are tailored more around other people's practices
100%.
than the unique personality and value that this practice has. And that's really where I advise diving first, understanding what it is that makes your practice unique and really capturing that and just continuing to enhance and build that out. And that's where you get that authenticity that people get behind.
Yeah. So I'd like to start, I think, with the outcome. You've got to know where the outcome, where you want to land, what do you want out of these marketing efforts, and does it look different between the different platforms? So maybe your community event might look a little bit different than your social media platforms, than maybe your referral and professional partnerships. What exactly are we looking at, and more, what is the budgeting pieces that we need to allocate toward that? And then how do we, more importantly, measure the results? And I think that that's a elusive thing for a lot of practices, is how am I measuring the success of this? Tracking is so important. The tracking piece of it is undervalued. You have these great practice management systems, and oftentimes practices aren't utilizing it. We take the new patient phone call, we record how they heard about it, but often how they heard about it is always the
just dentist. Automatically put the dentist down there. I'd actually say more times than not. It's an inaccurate referral source that is recorded.
So it's garbage in, garbage out. If I can't pull a report out of a practice management software to know I have invaluable data, like, it's not valuable.
No,
it's information that doesn't really give me a true return on my investment that I'm making.
It actually gives us false information to focus more in an area that wasn't the resource that sent those patients over. So not only does it not give us the data that we want, but it gives us data that's going to direct us in a whole different direction. So that is definitely, you talk a lot about, which I value, understanding the direction that you want to go in. What's the outcome that you're looking for? Not only do I think that you need to look at that in the big picture for the whole year, for our whole practice, you also need to look at that per event as well. And I want to just go back for a moment, because you remember back in the day, we both have been in orthodontics for decades. Back in the day, every practice thought they had to do this clap and dance for D-bands, right? And to this day, some practices still do it, and they do it very well. Actually, I really love it when I see that. But back in the day, every practice was encouraged to do it. And I just remember how awkward it was when it didn't match the personality and the culture of the practice, of the doctor, of the team. Like, it's painful. So that's a perfect example of, don't just do something that the neighbor's doing or that your friend in another state is doing. Find something that's uniquely you. We have some really great clients and friends that are remarkable on social media. And they have found their little area that they are good at, and they really maximize that. And I don't know about you. I know you know this story because our whole team knows this story. I am very, very comfortable up on stage lecturing, but the minute I have to do a selfie video or something, I'm so awkward. It is really uncomfortable for me to do. So I feel like the first person to say not it, when Larissa asks us to record something like that. So again, it's a matter of, finding people around you that are comfortable in things that you might not be, but then really understanding what you are good at, what you enjoy, and building a marketing campaign and structure around that, because that's something that you can believe in and that you'll have consistency with.
And so finding the right seat on the bus is important. Kind of piggybacking on what you just said. It's, if you've got somebody that is excited about going out in the community and doing this and wants to be a part of that, or somebody that's just really great at social media, which I am also not. How do they come up with the ideas and really brainstorming marketing agendas? Marketing business meetings are really important with the brainstorming piece. So that is a part that we always advise our teams to be doing on a regular basis as they plan for the future. So having your team as a whole come to this meeting with maybe 3 ideas
Oh, I love that.
in the different departments. So maybe it's a community department, maybe it's a professional partnership, maybe it's your social media messaging that you're wanting to do. What's going to work for the year and what maybe we want to table or not do at all.
Yep.
And really laying everything out there.
There's 2 key factors that I really like to promote and encourage, and one of them is consistency. Marketing is something that requires time and consistency. So you're not going to have one marketing event and expect that you're going to have opened up this huge funnel of new patients coming through your door. But it's a consistency and a comprehensiveness of everything combined that you're going to be doing over months. I really like to encourage practices, around events. I've got a really dear friend I love and respect, and as an orthodontist, and they created their Observation Kids Club summer event around the state that she's from, and she's actually Louisiana, and so she delivers king cakes. Like, it's a really great theme, and now it's been 20 years. They have maintained that consistency, and it becomes something that they're known for. And so I really like to kind of tap into something around where the doctor's from, or an interest, a passion, something that they can become known for like that. And I also like, secondly, to take we call them efforts, our social media, our community events, our professional partners, right? If you can take an event, a marketing event, and you can tie all 3 of those together in one event, for instance, like a food drive.
Yes.
You can take one event. It's very, very minimal investment for the practice. It's time. And if you can create fun contests for the schools in the area, for your referring offices, and for your patients, it's all the same event, and it's all going to contribute and support the local food bank. So it's supporting
backpacks for school.
Backpacks for school are another example of this. But it does take organization and effort in creating and decorating the collection boxes. It's very beneficial and helpful if the orthodontist and their team can create flyers that you drop off for your dental offices for their patients to take. The dental office that collects the most items gets a pizza party on Dr. Orthodontist. The classroom that collects the most items gets a pizza party on the orthodontist.
And I think that's key. The classroom.
They love
I've got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and those fundraisers, they want to work for it because they want the next little bitty toy that I don't need in our house. Sorry, but yes.
Dollar store toy.
Dollar store toys.
But a food drive also is very easy. I mean, it is, everybody's got something in their pantry as they remember to head off into their appointment. They can grab out of their pantry. And then, to continue on with that internally in the orthodontic office, every time maybe a patient brings an item in, they get a raffle ticket and they get put in a raffle for a pair of AirPods. So we have one event, blessing and contributing to a local food bank in our community, yet we're tying all 3 channels into that. And then we're sharing social media posts. I know that's an area that you talk a lot about when we talk about that marketing 2.0 and what those digital shares do. But look at all that cross-pollination. In that one event. And so, but it's consistency to be able to continue to do that, because it gets bigger and bigger every year when you become known for that.
And that becoming known, people get excited about it. I remember working in an ortho office, and there was a periodontist that used to deliver chocolate covered almonds every Christmas, and we would all look forward to it, because as soon as it went to the break room, it was gone.
But you're still talking about decades later. That specific periodontist in that specific office. So that just is a perfect example of where you can kind of become known for something, and that consistency really builds on itself. It's always really beneficial to have branded, mugs or something that dental offices can have in their lunchroom. So it's just kind of on, front of mind that.
Well, and making sure that you are always putting your sticker or something on there that has your brand and logo on it, because frequently your front desk knows, but the clinical team, your back office, doesn't know where it came from. They just see this yummy treat or great fun delivery, and they don't actually know where it came from.
Yep.
So that branding is really, really important. I'm going to tie. I have another kind of almond thing, but we had a practice that used to collaborate with a local chocolatier in their city.
Oh, yeah.
So not only are they creating this memorable thing that you anticipate and look forward to every year, I like it because they send one to me, and it's supporting the local community so they can go out and make sure that as they're doing these deliveries to your professional partners, they're also tying into those community efforts. So it's great when you can support local as well.
You and I, our working geniuses, are not that creative mind at all. But even just you and I sitting here kind of riffing back and forth and doing some collaboration can come up with some really great ideas. And so I don't want practices to devalue or underestimate the importance of a marketing meeting. Mm-hmm. And those marketing meetings should absolutely be minimum once a quarter. And they should have a structured agenda, a part of them, to make sure that we're maintaining momentum of all of our marketing efforts. Because, I mean, we can both vouch for that. I think our entire audience can vouch for the fact that time goes very, very fast. And all of a sudden, a month is upon us and we should have ordered something or we should have done this back that, And so we can just really leapfrog over those deadlines or due dates if we don't maintain the consistent communication with it and tap into the whole team. Our philosophy is that you might have a marketing manager. They should oversee your marketing calendar and your marketing budget, absolutely. But always make sure that for every event, you have your entire team participating in it. And each team member can be a manager of a task. And then your overall marketing manager would oversee the completion of those tasks and make sure that everything's coming to fruition.
And in your marketing meetings, review what that budget is and what your KPIs or your key performance indicators, how much price per patient did you get or receive out of that? So what was that return of investment per patient even?
And is that something that we can continue to build on?
Right.
Muffin runs are useless, completely useless. Yes, we want to maybe give appreciation to referral doctors and stuff, but make it purposeful, make it customized. I always encourage practices to ask specific questions about preferences for how the dentist might want their pans sent over. Do they want them embedded in the letter or do they want a separate JPEG? Who are the oral surgeons or specialists that they prefer to work with? Keep in mind, we are creating a treatment team on behalf of our mutual patients. So that should always be, the reason and the purpose behind going by our doctor's offices and not simply sending somebody in our office to deliver muffins, again, useless.
Something that we advise on often, speaking of, cultivating this professional partnership relationship, is treatment coordinators. I don't think they leverage that enough in the exam room.
I would agree.
If we have a patient that is needing to have some specialty treatment done, how wonderful is it for that treatment coordinator to pick up the phone, reach out and say, "Hey, Susie, this is Diana. I'm calling from Dr. Orthodontist's office. We've got your patient in the chair. We'd like to make sure that we've got their next appointment scheduled.
Perfect, yeah.
Or if it's an oral surgery office, we want to refer out. Is there any way that we can help facilitate getting them on the schedule?" That does two things for me as a former treatment coordinator. Is it helps me cultivate in that marketing, branding. I'm front and center. And it also gives me a little bit of control on when I can actually start that patient, right?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, you are doing the pending for the dental offices.
Correct.
And how would they not appreciate that? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that that's really, really valuable pieces of information. And it's important to really recognize that in all of our efforts that we do, what is our framework, what is our budgeting aspect of it, and how can we get the biggest return on that investment. And you can't understand what that return on your investment is unless you're measuring it.
Correct.
And accurately measuring it.
That's correct. I love this conversation. I think we could continue on this conversation. There's lots of ideas that we have to share with the audience. But that's our conversation for today between two molars. And this is where the real orthodontic talk lives.
Between two molars. So please like, subscribe, and comment with your questions. We want to hear from you, our audience, between two molars.